Hey Flag fans, I'm Gray, and welcome back to Flag Facts. Today's show is all about the myth of Betsy Ross. So we've all heard the story about Betsy Ross and the first American flag. But where does this story come from, and is it actually true? Well, according to legend, upholsterer Elizabeth Betsy Griscom Ross was visited by 3 members of a congressional flag committee in the spring of 1776. None other than General George Washington and 2 members of the Continental Congress, Robert Morris and George Ross. During their visit, the 3 men presented a sketch of a flag with 13 stripes and 13 6-pointed stars and asked if Betsy could make the flag. She replied, saying that while she had never made a flag before, she could certainly try, and suggested changing the stars from 6 points to 5. The men agreed and left her to complete the project. The flag was soon finished, and after receiving unanimous approval from the committee, it was presented to Congress. The next day, George Ross returned to Betsy's shop and gave her an unlimited order for as many flags as she could make. And thus, the American flag was born. So, now for the real question. Did any of that actually happen? Well, according to historians, the answer is probably not. While Betsy Ross did indeed run an upholstery shop in Philadelphia, and she did in fact make flags, there is no hard evidence to support the claim that she made the first American flag. So where does this story actually come from? Luckily, that is something we do actually know. The legend of Betsy Ross and the American flag was first introduced to the public in 1870, when it was promoted by her grandson, William J. Canby. Canby detailed the now famous tale in a paper presented to the Historical Society of Pennsylvania, and backed up his claims with sworn statements from several members of his family. When examining this story, there are a few things that could contribute to its plausibility. For one, George Ross, one of the members of the reported flag committee, was the uncle of Betsy's late husband, John Ross. Before his death in 1775, John and Betsy Ross ran their upholstery shop together and even sold bedding to the one and only George Washington in September of 1774. On top of that, the Rosses were members of Christ Church in Philadelphia, which was attended by not only George Washington, but also Robert Morris, the other member of the supposed flag committee. And finally, Washington did indeed visit Philadelphia from May 22nd to June 5th, 1776, which is within the time frame that Canby alleges the meeting took place. So this all sounds pretty compelling, right? Well, not so fast. While there are certainly a number of factors that could support the story, historians have not been able to find any hard evidence that substantiates the claim. Even Ross's grandson admitted that though he had searched through congressional and other records, he was unable to find any documents indicating the origins of the flag. In fact, there is no evidence that the Continental Congress ever created a committee to design a national flag. Even if such a committee did exist, it is highly unlikely that it would have involved General George Washington because, and this is true, he was kinda busy commanding the Continental Army. On top of that, no written record about the supposed meeting has ever been found in any account by George Washington, Robert Morris, George Ross, or even Betsy Ross herself. The earliest record connecting Betsy Ross to flags is from May of 1777, when she was paid to make ship colors for the Pennsylvania Navy. Though this was shortly before the Continental Congress adopted the famous flag resolution on June 14, 1777, there is no record of who designed the flag or even who introduced the measure. Additionally, the resolution did not specify any particular arrangement of the stars, so this circular design, which we know today as the Betsy Ross flag, was actually just one of many different arrangements. The story of Betsy Ross and the first American flag emerged at a time of growing nationalism in America, along with other things like Flag Day and the Pledge of Allegiance. Betsy's story found popularity because it fit nicely into the patriotic recounts of the Revolutionary War, and even featured appearances from other Revolutionary heroes to boot. She was seen as a patriotic role model for young girls and an example of women's contributions to the country's founding. Like any good myth, the legend of Betsy Ross contains just enough truth to make you want to believe, but at the end of the day, it just doesn't quite add up. So what'd you think? Did Betsy Ross actually make the first American flag? Is it just another patriotic tall tale? Let us know in the comments below. And while you're down there, be sure to like and subscribe for more flag-related content just like this. If you're in the market for an American flag, or a Betsy Ross flag, or any other flag, head on over to FlagandBanner.com for all your flag flying needs. And as always, thank you for watching. We'll catch you next time on Flag Facts.